He did. I'll give you that one. I saw where you're going, but
I like
yes.
that. Yeah, I like that transition over there, buddy, my friend.
Thank
I was
you.
about to say, I like what you have in your upper left corner over there.
Yeah, so those that are joining us tonight, as long as you stay tuned till the end of the stream, we will enter you into a raffle. And the raffle will let you win both the pop figure and the comic, reintroducing you to the character. You saw the movie, let them enter your home.
Oh, it's suspicious.
We will pick one person.
That's a weird way to say it, Red.
But what we're going to do for the next little bit is we're going to bring you a spoiler-free review discussion about Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
We will do our best with possibly mixed results.
It is true.
Don't.
Yes. We won't spoil anything if you haven't seen it. We'll try our best not to anyways. You can call us out if you will. Use our chat.
Yeah. Chat's right there.
With that in mind, where do we want to start?
What do we got? Well,
oh, man.
first and foremost, let's always talk about the cast first, because the cast is always important.
Yeah.
Right?
It sure is.
So let's get going. So let's begin. Who do we got? Simu Liu?
Simu Liu brings... Now, going back after watching that movie and going to watch Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
And then watching this dude go on Twitter and go, so it's about time for an Asian superhero, right? And Marvel looking him in the digital eyes and going, bet.
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
You got
Do you want to know what his first fucking role was? His first acting role.
No.
He was an extra in Pacific Rim.
Was he now?
That was the first thing he did. And he was, quote, way in the back. I think he was probably in one of the scenes with the big kaiju carcass, because the story he tells in an interview is about being sent home with cans of shaving cream because it was the only thing that would get the blue paint off.
Ah, yeah.
Neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay.
And apparently he fell in love with acting after that and went, how do I get in more? And now we have this. I would count this as more.
So, for someone, because Pacific Rim didn't come out not too long ago, very long ago, anyways.
And Kim
so for someone
is only a handful of years old.
Exactly. So for someone who just jumped into the acting realm, who actually can carry himself pretty fucking well, I'll have to admit, man.
Yeah.
So
he's done some stunt work. He's done Kim's Convenience, and Pacific Rim are the only big credits I know of for him.
No.
So
No. He did.
Oh, what do you got?
He did stock footage photos.
Yes, I don't think that counts as a big credit though. But yes, he did. They are everywhere, actually. They're everywhere.
Well, it's one way to get your face out there, man.
Well, my favorite thing that people are now doing with those is making jokes about Shang-Chi being the guy in the stock photos for various reasons, trying to not get ho-hoed by, the antagonist of the movie.
Right.
We've got one on screen.
It's really funny. Yeah.
Right.
Using his own stock photos as a reaction image. We love to see it.
We also got who else, man? We have co-star Aquafina, who's always funny at all times.
Honestly, some of her jokes, not so much.
Well,
yeah,
we're very dad joke, if you ask me.
Oh, that's the idea.
Yeah. I saw some controversy ahead of time because one of the things she sometimes does in her comedic roles is a black scent that some people are not pleased about, but no one seems to think she did it in this role, so that's for the best.
There you go.
I don't get to be the authority on what that whole situation is, just that was drama I was aware of going into the film.
Yeah, honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, so...
All I can do is...
Big.
Yeah, I ain't mad.
That's your word on it, and I cannot disagree in any way.
There it is. We also got King of Theater Tony Leung, King of Asian Theater, I should say, who's been around for a hot minute.
Yeah.
For a long time.
The internet loves this man. This is the internet's new daddy.
No
dude. Tony Leung is like certified badass. If you watch Asian cinema, especially Hong Kong cinema, Tony Leung literally is like the face of like their Infernal Affairs series, which is basically what Scorsese adapted The Departed from. He literally stole it from that. Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes I've seen told about why no one investigated the Ten Rings previously, because there's a whole thing about that during the movie, not to go into detail, is because everyone just thought Tony Leung could do that, and they all just accepted it and moved on.
They all just, yeah, that's just him.
He can just do that.
That's allowed.
Yeah. Uh, and then the fourth poster we have is Michelle. Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. And Michelle
Yo.
Yeoh is one of my favorites of all time because Michelle Yeoh, I watched her growing up like from when I was Baby Shino. So like I used to watch all of her kung fu movies with my mom. So I came up with her stuff. Do you know how she actually got into the martial arts like kung fu film industry?
Oh.
Here's a phone number for you. So she was really interested in it, got into it, and was fucking goaded by Jackie Chan, who told her, trying to get her best performance out of her, started giving her the sexist comments about women shouldn't fight, and the one that triggered her, you belong in the kitchen.
Sir Chan, what the fuck?
So he proceeded to trigger her inner rage and got her to get into an actual fight with him. And guess what happened?
Presumably
She
she
beat
kicked
his ass. Yep, fair and square. And so from that point on, she joined Jackie Chan's stunt team, and here we are, Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh
She was
in
in-
this fucking movie kicks all sorts of ass, and I love it.
She does a great job. And she also not only does she kick ass, she plays one of the most like, I'm not gonna call her the emotional center, but very like emotional compass. Like
Mhm.
she points a lot of people in directions that they need to be going when the time comes for them to figure that shit out around the climax-ish area.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit about the unless there's one more character we'd like to discuss briefly first.
Oh
There's
yeah, we
a
don't have
whole
a
bunch
poster
of them.
for her on screen, but last name Zhang, spelt almost like Megan, but not.
Give me a
I'm so
second
sorry.
here.
Anyway, Shang Chi's sister.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not supposed to spoil that, my friend.
Uh, bu- 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 nope. That's I've accidentally stumbled upon biology while trying to find her name. Whoops. Um, the character's name is uh Xialing, which I know. Unfortunately, I am very
Mhm.
bad at actor names, but she's a really cool character.
Her name is Meng. Her name is Meng Zhang.
Ming Zhen.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, she also kicks a lot of ass. And I heard that apparently her character was supposed to have like red streaks in her hair initially, until the actor noticed that that's just a super common trope for the rebel Asian character to have, like
Always. Yep.
dyed hair of some sort, and they just nixed it. She was like, "Actually, we will not be doing that," and then they didn't.
Thank you, because it seems that giving Asian females colored highlights is the only way to give them character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
unfortunately,
apparently their natural hair is just
one of our favorite movies around these parts, Scott Pilgrim, falls into that trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unfortunate.
It's super common, and it's also one of those things that you don't necessarily notice until someone points it out to you, and then you're like, oh, that is just everywhere.
Yep, it's everywhere.
Speaking of, though, again, not to get too spoilery, but rope dart's hot. In terms of weapons, rope dart hot.
Rope darts are always fun. They're always good.
10. And
They're always good.
to address the other image on screen, again, in not a lot of details, let's talk about the fights. Because holy fuck, I would love to buy a beer for the fight choreographer for this movie. They deserve it.
I heard that person was highly involved with the production of this film. Like,
Interesting.
not even
Yeah,
just doing their fight choreography job, but actually like being a part of like the cutting and the actual like cinematography of the film.
See, my thing with the fighting, like the fights were nice, but I like, again, I consume a lot of martial arts theater, and so I've seen films fill up 2 hours of just nothing but fucking kick your ass, right?
It's true.
And I kind of wanted that here, and I didn't. And I mean, I understand for the sake of storytelling, sure, but I mean, you tout
Space
a
for more
martial
that they
arts,
didn't.
yeah, you tout this martial arts film, and I get very, very small amounts, in my opinion, anyway, small amounts about it. So I kind of wanted more out of it, but
Sure.
choreography was perfect. I won't even lie about it. Right, that whole bus scene was something else. I could do that. I could do that bus scene over and over and over and over and over again, man.
And when
So,
it in like
um,
45 days when it comes to Disney Plus, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that. Like that was good stuff, man. Like each fight was good. Like even the incident with the bamboo tower that they were
Yes.
on the
Yes, yes,
side
yes.
building, right?
Yep, yep.
Was
Oh, that was
very
so
was very
fucking fun.
reminiscent, right? It was very reminiscent of Rush Hour. I think Rush Hour 2, right? When Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker were after Zhang Ziyi and she was out there and they were like all on that and shit was all crazy. So like it gave me a lot of Rush Hour feel, which is great because Rush Hour had some top notch choreography on it. All like that's one of Jackie's best, even though it's kind of like downplayed. It's one of his best still. So it was very good to see like they kind of like gave you a bit of like that Jackie Chan like kind of feel. It was good.
I loved both of those fights, both the bus and tower fight, in part because there's they really went, all right, we're going to put them in an incredibly small space and then we're going to make
Hmm.
absolute fucking use of that space. Every angle, every part of that space is going to be a part of this fight. And not
Yeah.
only was that visually interesting, but it also plays into the character elements of it's been a while since Shang-Chi's had to physically fight a guy. He's gonna try and not get his ass kicked while also finding the right opportunities to kick ass himself. So a slightly more evasive fighting style felt perfectly natural to me.
Right on. Yeah, very organic, as we like to say.
Yeah, it was waiting for his moment to do the thing.
Hmm.
And
Also,
not only
Lipton
that,
pop.
it was very, very fucking cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like every part of it was fucking cool. And there's the part in the bus fight where he's like, I guess I'll be on the outside of the bus for a portion of this just cuz. Like there
Again,
was
very
no need
Jackie
for
Chan.
that, but it
Oh, it was very Jackie Chan Rebel in the Bronx. Like I'm like this whole movie gave me that feel, and so I wanted more throughout this whole movie because they were doing it all right. Like everything they did was thumbs up. Just they needed to give me more of it, man.
Right, especially as we go throughout the movie where, you know, the plot escalates and then we get to the second part of the three acts, which
was
was very easy to find as the movie went on, which is a little bit to the movie's downfall, but that
Things sometimes have to slow down and drag. I wish it didn't because I wanted more again, but for the sake of
yeah,
storytelling, and again, we're setting up a whole thing, right? So I
yep.
mean,
yeah.
don't give too much. You know what I mean? So I mean,
It's true.
whatever. It was good
To me
enough.
personally, I felt like the middle, like right smack dab in the middle for about 5 or 6 minutes. It's like,
Hmm.
are we like I know something's supposed to happen. Like the movie just can't be over yet.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
plot to wrap up, but as we get for like 5 or 6 minutes, a little, can we get it going?
That's
Like
fair.
move. Let's move.
I mean,
Yeah.
I found because the big part of the point we're making here is that the second act is the least combative. That's where a lot of the plot happens to get us into the third. But
Mm.
what I really noticed about the second act was it's so the bit after they take that look at the map.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where Shang Chi tries to say something and gets immediately given a good reason to not say that.
Yeah.
I think that moment would have been less poignant if there'd been like any kind of combat preceding it within the last 5 or so minutes. Because
Yeah.
to that point, things had been fairly civil. Not great, but civil. And so
Mhm.
that switch, that like on a dime change in response and approach,
Mhm.
I felt was very significant in terms of the characters' relationships to each other. And it would have been less if there had been more fighting directly before it. At the
So
same time,
yeah.
Fighty!
they're
They quit the
really
fighty!
did, they did
I
ask
mean,
us during an awkward family dinner at one point. Yeah, they did.
some would
That's
say
two.
that
That's
middle
two
part
Marvel
could have been
movies back to
used.
back that gave me an awkward family dinner.
I was gonna say
I
like
liked it.
that. Some would say the middle part would have been good to use a bit more of that Death Dealer character. Just saying.
Yep.
There was ways to put the tension up that they could have done that they chose not to do. And I don't want to fall into the pitfall of if everything had been different, but that thing
Yeah.
probably could have been different.
I feel like it, like I don't know. I just feel that Death Dealer kind of got. I mean, even though it's not as big as a character, I just feel like the dealer got the short end of the stick like Taskmaster did, a la Black Widow, right?
Well,
See,
So,
I think this is worse than that.
uh, mm,
we
mm, no, because I mean, with Death Dealer, not many people know who the character is. So I mean, like the fact that you kind of threw them in there and didn't really stretch that out, it's a shame. But with Taskmaster, especially with today's
so
media
that
now, like he's being, yeah, you're right. He's getting a bit more play and like a lot of video games and like cartoons and everything. So like people kind of know of him now. So like they kind of just throw the
there's
character
only
in
so
Black
many
Widow
you
and
can
it's
get away with.
yeah, and then like kind of do what they did. It's a fucking shame, but here we are.
See, I think we all discussed it shortly after leaving the movie, not going into too much detail, but it certainly seems like Death Dealer had been written a bigger part, and that part got cut for time.
I feel
Scripts
so too.
types in our chat. Is this a spoiler free combo? It is.
Yeah.
We're talking
It
in
is very
vague
spoiler free.
vague
We are
circumstances.
minding
Yeah.
our tongues here. We promise. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
yeah,
dropped a
yeah.
feels
little bit of
like
a small one, but don't just.
yeah.
That's my bad.
Because with Death Dealer, it feels like, especially with some of the shots of him and some of the angles and some of the flashbacks we get involving him, it
Yeah.
feels like there was supposed to be something there to like wrap all of that up that
Mm-hmm.
didn't quite happen. And
Right.
they
Yes.
realized they
Yeah.
had to do something with the character, given how much attention they'd brought to him. So they went with what they went with.
Exactly. Especially that
And
that
he couldn't show up much later because that wouldn't have been a place to put that character.
I don't know. Like they
They'd
like
have
she
to lose
said, like
that one cool fight.
yeah, like the buildup was there. Like especially during that mid fight there during in the with the neon lights in the building, right? Like something was happening, right? Like there was things there, and then you kind of
It
you kind of
mattered.
cooked on it. Yeah, like you cooked on it, and then you kind of let it simmer and then didn't do anything with it. I don't know.
Yes. Put it on the back burner and forgot it was there.
Yeah, kind of a shame.
Yeah. Also to script
What
in our
up,
chat.
Scripps?
To script in our chat. All the images on screen are either from trailers that have already been out for weeks, or publicly released from Marvel's official Twitter account, and have
We
been
are
out
not
for
doing
more than a
any of
handful of
the,
days.
Steely images stuff.
Yeah, we will not destroy the movie for you if you haven't seen it yet. Don't worry, we got you,
But
bro.
on that note, go fucking see it.
Yeah, for real.
If it's safe to go see it, you absolutely should.
You know what? Because I dare say, because it was great to see a lot of my Asian friends reach out to me when Black Panther dropped, right?
Yeah.
And they went into that movie with so much love, and it was great to see that too, because like they know that like the Black community consumes like the Asian community. It's almost hand in hand, especially places like New York, San Fran. Like it's just one of those things, man. So, um, with Shang-Chi, I made sure to go into that. I was gonna give that movie love regardless. So that, first off, I like martial arts movies. Second off, my Asian brothers and sisters need to get some airtime too. So I was ready for
Yeah.
this movie for the longest time. I made sure I was telling you guys I'm gonna go see this regardless. I'm going to see this even if we got like super Delta variant. I don't care. I'm going to see this movie.
I was going to see it. I'm just in.
Yeah, so I'm going. So like, it was like going into this movie felt good because I felt that kind of feel, like that kind of that proud feeling, that pride feeling you get when you're just like, this movie's about that community. You can see how they went this movie with their eyes wide because they want to see this movie so bad, and they wanted to make sure it was good, and fuck, it was very good, man.
Even in our audience, in our theater, when we watched it, just the general seeing public, that's who was seeing it, and I'm really glad they were seeing it.
Oh yeah, man. Actually, the
Also-
turnout was crazy. Knowing so much, so like what was going on, that turnout was like nuts. Like
Five
I'm happy.
empty seats in the entire theater.
Yeah, which is nuts, and no one cared because everybody wanted to see what was going down, right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy I went to go check it out.
There are some surprise characters in this movie that I did not expect, and just to
Mhm.
graze over that real quick. Definitely two are in the trailers.
Mhm.
And they're how would I like to put this? They're scenes that the trailer expands into
Mhm.
are really cool to watch, and the introduction of that character back into the MCU, like rotating in and out, was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
very cool to see, and I want
Yeah.
him to show up more.
Mhm.
Be nice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a
Good
few
day.
things going down. That it was fun to see that fight go down.
Yep.
Right. That cage match. Right.
Yep.
I won't. Spoiler alert. I will not tell you who the winner is.
Right.
Right.
Or if there's any more fights in that arena, if there is any.
Right. Oh
Looks-
boy.
It could just be a nice set piece. Who knows? We don't. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. That's a lie.
But yeah, man, wicked movie. I again, only very minor gripes that I have with this film.
Hi,
Yeah.
Main 42. You've joined us for our spoiler-free Shang-Chi discussion. If
Hey.
you and Scripps also decide you're hanging around for the entire stream, these two are up for part of a giveaway. Both this Shang-Chi pop figure and the newest run, the number 1 of the series by Jean Luen Yang.
It's great that they decided to maximize their marketing opportunities. There's also this week, I think, came out Shang-Chi versus the Fantastic Four issue because there's some sort of drama going on with them in the negative zone.
Yeah, it's Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe. And
Right,
this is the
yeah.
Fantastic Four one.
Oh
The week
boy.
before was the
Fairly
Wolverine one. The week before was the Deadpool one. The first one was a Spider-Man one.
Those are
Looks
all,
like Shang-Chi's about to beat 8 cheeks. God damn.
in successive order, actually.
God damn.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the cultural elements of the movie, not only did they include them, but they put a very careful kind of emphasis on the part. Like, all right, don't get us wrong. We're Canadian. We take our shoes off when we enter the house because we're not fucking animals. And also, 9 months of the year, there's snow everywhere. So if you don't, you're a jackass.
Of course.
But
Hard facts.
it's also
Cold
a
facts.
culturally Chinese thing to take your shoes off, and they frequently have slippers. I personally don't, but whatever. And in the first 20 minutes or so, Shang-Chi's going into someone's house, and it pauses and gives you a shot of him taking his shoes off because it matters, and they know it does. They
Oh, yeah.
discuss funerary practices. They've got multiple shrines to remember the dead in various scenes. There's a whole conversation about the significance of names, which is not a small thing at all. I've looked it up for I like to write stuff for reasons, and picking a name for a Chinese character correctly is super duper hard because parents put so much thought into naming their children because it's sort of like a thing of what you want for them. And this movie
Yeah.
talks about all of that stuff. And
And
that's
also-
just super fucking cool.
It also is the thought of, I've seen a lot of people drawing the relation between how to stay in the old ways, but like coming to new countries and growing up with new traditions and new things to do and being your own person,
Yeah.
and the sort of internal battle between the two.
Mhm.
That diaspora experience, yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
it gets into some familial stuff, particularly in relation to I'll call it Chinese family dynamics, because there are certain expectations that don't necessarily translate into everybody's familial experiences
Oh yeah.
that are central to this movie.
What I
Like-
will say, how to beat your kids when they get an A minus. Yeah, it's funny stuff.
Yeah.
Listen,
What
my
it
parents
is
would have been
is-
absolutely ecstatic if I got an A minus. I would have been given a cake. Like,
Where's the other 2%? Ugh.
These are hard
But-
facts. Oh God.
But yeah, this movie is unapologetically culturally grounded in Asian culture.
the fun part is
Everything,
so,
even from yeah, I was gonna say even through cinematography, like going back on like the Mandarin's origins, right, with his rival and their romance was very atypical kung fu romance in kung fu theater. Like is literally the wushu dance they did was on purpose for that kind of that feel, man. It's just this whole movie did it all right. It did everything correct.
yeah. The other thing it got
Dramatic-
absolutely correct is I have the absolute pleasure of Lady Red is directly Asian. And so throughout the movie, she'd be like, yeah, and that's right, and that's right, and that's correct. And it was really cool to have that experience. And every once in a while, she'd give me this look. But I digress. The fact is, two of the characters, one was speaking her language, which is a subdialect of a subdialect of a subdialect of Mandarin Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually having a character speak her subdialect was really cool for her. Like, she did a hard panic. She's like, that's my language.
Mandarin in this movie. Like the first 5 minutes are just straight up Mandarin with subtitles.
Which, good. If
Yeah,
you're going to
Yeah.
start us in Marvel Kung Fu Land, give us...
Start it right.
That's where the country is. Like, they speak the language. Don't do that to me. Like,
Why would they be narrating in
Oh.
English? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they made sure to keep it authentic, right? Like even when they got to the underground stuff and they were like the dude was like, oh, I speak ABC, don't worry, right? You know,
Yeah.
he speaks alphabet, he
And-
gets it.
he
Simultaneously,
speaks McDonald's. He gets it.
like Katie is a great character for that. Don't worry about who she is if you haven't seen the movie. Where her relationship with her own culture is kind of a degree removed because she's the child of immigrants, which is back to what Red was referring to earlier. That it not only grounds itself in the culture, but also the living, breathing culture, not just the traditional culture.
Yeah. The
Right
fact
on.
that's
Mhm.
exactly it. It's hella fucking authentic. On screen right now, one of the main people that works for the VFX in the movie shared this concept art, the lower picture. And if you analyze it too much, there might be a spoiler or two in there, but
Full of spoilers. Don't worry about it.
yeah. You only know if you know. Anyway, my point is,
Although I was sorry before you come on, I was actually informed that who we thought that giant being's name was, we are actually incorrect.
I
And
remember
it
you
was
are gonna
not
have
them.
to tell me offline, because
Oh yeah,
we
we were wrong.
what I will say is that I'm so glad this movie didn't slip into, the 10 rings are a MacGuffin to chase after.
Yeah,
No.
that actually meant
They're
something. Yeah, there's
actually-
something.
Yeah,
Like
whereas
they're plot relevant, but they're not the bit.
I'm very impressed
What
with
I-
this movie that people were drawn to this movie even though it had a little bit of subtitle,
Yeah,
but that subtitle is different than what you expect going into the movie, knowing very little about the character and the legend.
All right.
Oh,
Now the fun part.
yeah.
Go. No, I was going to say go on before you can. Before I go on, you continue. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say that no, once they do start getting a little bit more into using the 10 rings for what they're used for,
Yeah.
you kind of get some hints of it first based on the images on screen and some of the trailers, but they just use them really cool, and the way those show character moments, the way they allow people to interact with each other, I was so on board. I was just so on board the whole time. And also, I'll
Let's see,
physically
now
fight
the-
Marvel to make magic be legitimate. I will. Just fucking stop making
Oh,
magic
well, I mean,
allowed.
that's where we're headed to right now. That's exactly where we're headed to, right?
Here's-
So I mean, we're headed to space and
Kicking and
everything
screaming, we'll get
supernatural
there.
with a few, you know, citywide heroes and espionage in between, sprinkled here and there, right? But we're going to space and we're going to supernatural route, multiverse and such. It's the way to go.
What most excited me was sitting next to you guys watching this movie, and then going, "Hey, they really should make a plushie of this thing."
And they went and did it.
And then, not a day later, I was scrolling through TikTok as I do, and then I found in a comment section someone went, "Yeah, go check the Disney Store website." That was the easiest
did it.
$45 I've ever spent in my whole life.
I'm not mad at you for that. Although I don't like it, but I'm not mad at you for that.
All of these supernatural creatures that may or may not appear are all based on actual figures of legend, which is fucking cool. They didn't make shit up. They just went, look at this guy. They have this guy. He's there.
This is the
Don't worry
thing.
about it.
Now, before we go and review your comic of the week, here's the fun part. What do y'all rate this movie?
Oh, see, here's my thoughts. So it would be very hard to rate it against the other 24-ish films in this movie in the chronology. What I think we should do is I'm going to invert the question a little bit. Does this crack your top 5?
Yes.
No.
Easy.
Not so much for me a top 5 if you're talking about overall all these movies, right?
In sort of origin movies, I would say.
In origin movies, I mean, how many origins do we really have aside
we have
like
7.
Cap, Thor, Captain Marvel,
I think there's 7.
right?
Because the top that
There's only
I
a
gotta
few.
say, like, off the top of my head, I've always held like 4 in most important top. So now this just becomes the 5th.
Iron Man.
For sure. Like Ragnarok, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and now Shang-Chi.
See,
Yeah.
for me, I'm gonna have to scale it on a rating setting. So like, Shang-Chi sits at a decent like 7.5 to like an 8 for me, only
100%
because
agree.
few things were missing, which I wish they just had a bit more of. But I mean, we still got an entertaining film out of the whole thing, and by no means is it garbage. It's a very entertaining film. I just have the minor gripes because like I'm spoiled by Kung Fu Theater. I just want more.
Right.
So.
This was a great way to introduce Kung Fu Theater into a modern audiences.
Reintroduce.
My
because
apologies, reintroduce. Because
yeah,
Kill Bill tried to do it first. You're right.
No, I'm gonna slap you really hard. Because Bruce Lee killed that shit back in the day with Green Hornet. But I mean, without him, this would not be a thing. In fact, without his stunt scene that he did, we wouldn't even have kung fu in our modern day TV and movies. So thank you, Bruce Lee. But yeah, man. I mean, Samoa gives me that Bruce Lee feel, especially with that haircut and them kicks. Fuck, they were fast. Bow, crap. I was like, oh my god, give me more of that. But all right.
Also, just
Oh,
as
yeah.
a complete side tangent, on the Disney Store website, they do sell Shang-Chi's tunic. And
Oh, yeah?
I debated it.
That shit's slick as fuck. I'm not gonna lie about it.
But when am I gonna wear it? It doesn't matter. I thought about it.
Oh man. But all right.
All right,
But
on to the book.
Give me your book of the week.
So,
what do we got?
This week was kind of special because I don't really know what the hell happened this week in comics, but nothing that we care about. So the options were pretty slim.
Mm-hmm.
But a certain property that one Mr. Shino Brando always points out when we're in a comic book store has reared its old-timey head.
Really now, what's this?
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by.